Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley and we're going to be playing on the, not Rise of Mordor mod, but this is going to be the Third Age mod in Medieval 2. Figured since the newer mod is going to be a while coming, we might as well satiate our thirst, for Lord of the Rings content with this awesome Medieval 2 mod because it has figured it out in terms of the awesome massive units. So anyways, I'm going to be playing with Indie Pride. He's going to be the Sylvan Elves here. I am going to be the men and the elephants of Harad here. And it is on the awesome kind of mountain range map, which has a big valley down here where we're going to be fighting. So Indy has brought a lot of these woodland warriors, as you can see, but most of his force is actually going to be comprised of archers. These are going to be moving up here, Sylvan archers pressing forward, and he has this initial screening battle line of sentinels of the woodland realm starting to push forward. So what is he fighting up against? Well, over in this position, it's two opponents. One of them is bottled up here. This is Dale, barding here. Lots of heavily armored dudes. Man, look at these guys. These men of Dale, heavily armored, look like medieval, almost armored sergeants you'd expect from the base Total War game. And they have tons of these Bardian marksmen. Lots of numbers, lots of archers. Pretty epic shot of the whole force moving forward. Just unloading on the elves. In the distance you can see my Mumakil moving forward as well. More depth to it. Dismounted earls. God, these guys are so cool. And the Rovanian Gadrots. So they're pushing forward. They have a nice little nestled position to put all of their forces, keep our guys at bay, and then what they can do is, unload all their archers on our front lines. And what they're going to try and do is establish a position on top of this hill where there's no actual way to get up here. And so if they get archers up here, boom, they can rain down on the entirety of our force. So that's why we have all of these archers just firing away. We can take a look at some of these shots crisscrossing the battlefield. These are all of Indy's archers. Look at them just spread out, firing away. Now I do have some of my troops starting to move up. These are Corsairs, light infantry. One of them gets the fuck out of there, and then I tell them, no, you have to recommit. Basically what I'm telling them to do is chase after those archers, contest the position up here. And yes, I'm gonna get charged in the flank, but I'm gonna hit some of these archers. You can see me starting to knock away at these guys. They are way more heavily armored than me, and I'm gonna start to get hit in the flank by dismounted earls. Heavy infantry, I don't think they'll lose a single man against my light troops, but the whole idea here is to delay the push of these archers. And yeah, look at all this, everything is held back. Meanwhile, the rest of these archers are going to start positioning themselves on top, and man, they're going to start to, have so much pressure put on them. The front lines, meanwhile, have taken a ridiculous amount of beating from Indy's archers, firing point blank into these units. They're starting to drop precipitously, taking a hell of a beating. They're going to start to push forward, but Indy can jostle around. He himself is starting to take some losses, but nowhere near as prevalent. And this reminds me of the scene in the first Lord of the Rings, talking about the old battle, I believe, of the first age, or perhaps it was the second age. The ranks of men and elves just firing away at the lines of Mordor. In this case, it's fighting against Dale. And Dale is going to close, but we're going to countercharge with the Sylvan swordsmen. So we should do pretty good to hold them back. But like I said, in this choke point, they can hold us at bay forever. So you've been seeing kind of a 2 versus 1. My elephants also are going to start taking a bit of damage from the archers. Nothing to really worry about. They barely even feel it. But yeah, like I've said, I've sent a couple of my troops down here. So, well, where is the other force? I mean, it's a 2 versus 1 happening. Well, that is because the other force is positioned back here. It's going to be an elven army. These high elves, and they are going to be concentrated on my forces. The majority of my force is actually up. It was positioned up on this hill, and I had diverted half of them to go to the bottom to help Indy, and the other half was kind of a stalling tactic to keep to keep our opponent Rex here at bay. So what do I have? I have these trollmen, which are light infantry, but they have 2 hit points, and they do high armor-piercing damage. So actually really good troops, but I have to, they could melt in the face of those archers, so I got to be careful. So what I'm doing is just kind of kiting with Haradrim archers, Southrun pikemen to ward off a cavalry strike. But yeah, I'm taking lots of damage from his archers. This is not a position I want to run into. Eldar Inway swordsman. Yeah, I cannot charge into this. So I'm just kiting, keeping the majority of their forces distracted. Yeah, Eldar Inouye swordsmen with the Eldar Inouye archers. So freaking beautiful to behold. And they also have a supporting ballista, so soon he's going to be able to kind of just beat away at my forces, keep them at bay. And then they're going to start to reposition some of their guys on the right flank. I was starting to push with Indie Pride, with some of my men up through the center. Dismount and Serpent Guard, some Troll men, and yeah, another Serpent Guard. So these are pretty elite forces. But these cavalry are actually going to prove pretty devastated. Imladris riders can skirmish a lot and point blank against my low armor guys. The Trollmen, those guys can take a beating, and they're even doing tremendous damage against my front rank troops. So these elves on both sides proving really devastating. And I'm very tired from having marched / ran the whole distance, so I'm going to turn one of them back. The other one is going to be sacrificed just to force this unit away. He's going to charge in, and this is going to allow me to finally, stop taking arrow fire and deal with them. But the rest of the forces are going to be repivoting. Swordsmen, spearmen, Eldar Inouye archers. God, this is going to be another scary bottleneck. So let's go back and take a look at what's happening here. Well, the archers and the other units have destroyed my light infantry, although I did get a couple nice kills here. But yeah, this has allowed all his archers to position themselves up top. Start to get nice shots down on our troops. We're having not the best returning fire, so they may have kind of an advantage here. The front lines have collapsed in a big engagement. We've thrown in some of our Sylvan Elves. It looks like we do have good potential to win this, although in some sectors of the battlefield it does say the balance of forces is evenly matched. And he does actually have some dismounted Earls who are going to be free, and they're going to try and pour around the flank. They actually broke some of our Sylvan Swordsmen, so this could end up being a pretty big rout of our forces. We're going to pull in some Woodland Warriors to plug the gap. But eventually this may be a battle that we end up losing. Our archers here are going to try and even up the odds. But like I said, supporting fire from the hill is going to also take its toll. So what we decide to do is we're going to activate the Mumakil here. They've been sitting back trying to avoid archer fire, but now they're going to stampede forward. Yes, they're going to do a fair amount of damage on our own guys, but the goal here is just to push them forward through the front lines. Oh, look at that charge. Holy crap. That is as devastating a charge as you will ever see. They go straight through to the rear rank, and what I'm doing is, oh, we got a juicy little trap here. These guys who were so satisfying in being in a position where there's only one way up are going to find that this is going to actually end up trapping them in their position. So as these men here, this is like Jurassic Park. Look down at the puddle and you see doom, doom, doom. And it's not a T-Rex, it's a giant elephant actually coming your way. And now look at this freaking charge here. They simply could not get enough, and now we are mowing the lawn with these archers. Just a bloodbath. Man, if there were blood and gore in this game, you'd be seeing giblets thrown all over the place, puddles of blood. It's already starting to go on the ankle bracelets of these Mumakil. God, all they have to do is spin around, and I'm getting so much damage done here. This is 3-4 units worth of archers going down. Body's going to be thrown off the cliff. And on the downside here, if you look back up, you see elephants literally on top of the hill tossing bodies off the cliff. So that is going to end up turning the tide a bit more in our battle. The disruption I threw in here was really good. So now our guys can close. Woodland Warriors also going to commit. So it looks like this is a really nice engagement for us. Some of these archers are trying to pull out of here, but no real way to do that when you're face to face with Mumakil. You can see some arrows actually starting to come in. But that is these Eldar Inouye archers just keeping our forces at bay. They dealt with our troops in the in this gully. And meanwhile on the back, I've decided to commit the majority of my troll infantry and pikemen. And we're slowly forcing the enemy back. Now they do have their archers firing away, but if you'll notice, a fair amount of the shots are going to be dealing damage to their own men. So I'm not too worried. I just want to keep the elves at bay. Meanwhile, my own fire archers are also kind of picking away at forces, doing way too much damage to my own men, but that's fine. We have the numbers here. This is kind of a 1v1 fight that you're seeing on this engagement, which, even if I come out under, that's fine. It'll be a pretty costly trade for the elves. Meanwhile, his allies being 2v1 to smithereens in this front. Oh, and they're trying to throw in some dismounted earls to even up the fight. That is not good. My elephants bloodied, came down the hill to clobber a couple more guys, but that is it. Now we get to see the final collapse. I even threw in some of my troll men of Harad, still at 100 forces, and they're going to collapse in on the final remaining men of Dale, fighting to the death here gloriously. But yeah, we've killed this. So now what we can do is start to reposition our archers, sentinels. We even had one catapult force that's been in the back this whole time, finally starting to struggle and move up. And what he's going to try and do is position himself here and dislodge the archers and the other forces. But man, can they put on some hurt for anyone pushing up through the center. We sent our spearmen here to try and force them back. And now in the distance, this is really cool. You can see the elves, the high elves here cresting the hill. Charging into spearmen, not a good move with these archers, but I guess he's just trying to buy time for more of our arrows to come in. But yeah, now Indy's starting to set up his triple lines, and the elves here not going to be doing very well. Ooh, and we do kill the enemy general, stabbed with our spear, so that went well. Here, yep, continuing to be a close fight. Let's see what the odds are. Balance of forces is evenly matched. Oh my god, even though so much fire is pouring in on me, I threw in another pikeman force just to keep me going. Anything I kept in the back would be burned anyway, so I figured let's throw that in. In the rear, I do have, like I showed you before, archers firing away. Oh my god, look how much fire, how many fire arrows that is. But yeah, these guys have been firing away. And then I have a cavalry force of serpent guards that I may activate here soon. I'm waiting for the ranks to thin out and then perhaps sneak over the side, but the time for that isn't quite here yet. And these trollmen are actually pretty beastly. The elves going to pull away their archers. They figured, you know, they weren't doing too much damage against my guys, and he thinks he has the advantage in his favor. Defeat is almost a certainty for most of my guys. Only a military genius could win, so he repositioned all of his archers, and he's going to try and have a just, you know, sheer, I don't know how you call this, a storm of almost lead, you'd say, a storm of arrows that he wants to position in front of this valley, and I don't blame him. That is a good strategy, especially when you see Mumakil starting to line up against in the valley here. Yep, you definitely want to have something ready to fire at that. Speaking of firing away, this catapult is going to be ready, and it does take a pot shot at the enemy force. Ooh, and scores a direct hit on the defending force. That was a perfect blow. Second catapult strike does land a little bit short, but this force of Sylvan heavy spearmen is pushed all the way up, and now we're starting to get counter archer fire. So lots of damage being done on both sides. Really glorious. Ooh, and catapult shot goes short. But yeah, take a look over here. I had pulled in my Serpent Guard archers, or Serpent Guard heavy cav, trying to thread the gap. I'm waiting for an opportunity. My archers are going to start firing away at this exposed flank. Perhaps try and thin out these spearman forces so I can slip through. Because I really need to dislodge this. They're starting to get ballistas up and running as well. Not looking good for us. Indy and my forces are starting to move up, but we're pretty clustered. And now the Eldar Inway forces are going to start doing a lot of damage. Then again, do they have the damage to deal with the Mumakil? That is going to be the question. Excuse me, we trample over half of our guys along the way, but that is fine. That's what these elephants are for, is to trample, and so who can blame them if they trample, if they're a little overzealous in their trampling. Oh man, but here they come. The enemy's going to try and target them. This is a decisive factor, and I don't know if they have enough arrows to deal with this threat. A couple more volleys are going to come in. Come on, point blank, straight in the ass. Ooh! Doing more damage to themselves than anything. So yeah, this one Mumakil may be forced back. Oh, but they're going to eat up that flank. Meanwhile, I have my cavalry that I pulled free through the back are also going to charge in through the rear. So we're going to get a dual hammer stroke. These are impressive Harad tactics here. And now we're going to completely collapse on this elven force. Stampeding from the front, cavalry in the back, and now the front lines. We're going to start to pour in with the rest of our troops. And at this point, the enemy has admitted defeat. So yeah, it is pretty decisive here. Just completely mopping the floor with these elves. So good try holding the pass. These Mumakil ended up being extremely beneficial for breaking through these positions. It was smart for Indy and I to keep them in reserve and dedicate them at the most crucial part of the battle. Good thing as well that we double enveloped the enemy on this side. Had the elves pulled out of that position and moved all their archers here, I think they totally could have, you know, with this as their centerpiece, archers on either side, spear in the front, they could have totally clobbered Indy and myself in this position. So it was a shame that they didn't work together. Meanwhile, apparently Herod and the Sylvan elves here, or sorry, the woodland elves have a good treaty or something going on. Then we work together really well. Indy got most of the kills here with his archers. Myself getting a fair amount of kills, and the enemy not doing too well. Man, this Dale guy had so many dudes, crazy. Let's take a look at the final stats. Oh my god, 688 kills, guys, with the Mumakil. That is absurd. They just gobbled up the enemy on top of that hill. Like I said, it was like 4 archer units plus a couple straggler lords that came and ran up here. We clobbered that, and then we charged through the second. We essentially got 2 armies worth of kills. 688, that's the majority of my kills. Mother of God, that's insane. No one else can even compare. Trollman at 101 doing pretty well, but damn, impressive stuff. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. See you in the next one. Peace out.